you are going to spawn right around there in this seed. And if you head over in this general area, you got a pretty good flat land area in the Savannah Biome. If you head over to this plains biome over here, there's even more flat area to work with, but you also have a pretty cool village right over here, the nearby lava lake and a nearby structure. Actually, there's three lava lakes right by this village. Probably pretty hazardous for the NPCs around there, but it is what it is. And if we head back over here, like I said, you spawn right around in there in the Savannah Biome. You have this interesting little hill slash mountain feature over here, which is pretty cool because you can start to see it now, but there's a village that's partially on this hill, and you also got some more flat areas to work with for building right around here. Let's go up a little bit higher and you'll be able to see a little bit better. As you can see, you got a village right there, right next to that interesting mountain feature right there in the Savannah Biome. So yeah, pretty cool village location. And if you look over here to this plains biome, you have another village. So you have village over there, village right here, and a village right there, all pretty much relatively close to spawn, which is pretty cool if you're a big fan of villages, and with more Savannah biome right here with more flat areas, and a nice little plains biome right here. It's not a big plains biome, but it does have a lot of flat features for building. In this snow seed, you're going to spawn right around here. You got a little frozen part of water right there, or part of the river. You want to head over here, across the little frozen river, and you're going to have this nice little flat area with a little village at the bottom, but it goes up, as you can clearly see. You can see part of the village here, and as you can see, you got more part of the village on the side right here. And up at the top, you got the rest of the village, which has a pretty good amount of flat area to work with on top of the mountain, which is pretty cool. You also got some plains biome over there, other types of trees that you're not going to necessarily see in a snow area as much. And then you got some trees right there as well. So you have a decent amount of wood for your building materials, and you have a nice little flat area right along the river. In this seed, you're going to spawn in this general area right here. You do have a flower area right there with a decent amount of flat land for building. You have a structure right over there. And if you turn off to the side or look where the large body of water is, you got a hill to climb down, which shouldn't take you too long since you have a water. You can just jump into right there. You have a little flat land area right there. But what we have over here is a pretty good island for building or just setting up your base. It's a good sized island. You do have a tree on it. You have a lava lake right there, and you have this little shipwreck or whatever the heck feature that is right there, not too far from spawn. And you do have this large body of water for boat exploration if you want, and you do have a pretty cool mountain right next to this island if you want to end up using it for like scenery or maybe even building a pond. So yeah, pretty cool island seed. For this seed, you're going to spawn right around here, which happens to be on a pretty good sized island. If you cross the river and follow that little river area right there between these two trees, you're going to see a village off in the distance, which is a pretty good location for a village. It's kind of hidden, so I kind of like that location for a village. However, that's not all this seed has to offer. Obviously, you got a pretty good ravine or cave entrance right there. So it's going to allow you to get down pretty deep underground with minimal hassle. And right close to the island, you got another village with this nice little feature right here. You could even build on this island like a bridge here and then a bridge there. And then you have another village with a structure right over there. So could even connect that, which I think could be pretty cool. So yeah, good island spawn, village over there, and another village nearby spawn. In this seed, you're going to spawn in this general area right here. If you look at the ice spike biome, it unfreezes and becomes mostly water. So if you want to head off in that direction, you can. However, if you want more snow, you do have some flatland area right here and a pretty large flatland snow area right here that's kind of blended together with the frozen water, and more ice spike biomes over in that direction. And you also have this pretty cool shipwreck right here that's right where the ice is. So I thought that was pretty cool. And if you want some more trees, there's more off in this direction with more flatland area to work with. So yeah, you got this pretty large area of flatland that's more long than it is circular. So yeah, enjoy. This seed is going to have you spawn in this little flat plains biome right here, but that's just the beginning. If you head straight towards this hill, you're going to have more plains with a couple cave entrances right there. However, if you climb on top of this hill, you have a pretty good hill village with some flat area right there for building. A little bit more right there, and a little bit down in this little bowl. And like I said before, you have quite a few little entrances into the cave systems, and a pretty good village right here with the nearby forest. As you can see, it goes actually right into the forest. I actually really like this right there. So you could expand that over to the ocean or lake over there. So yeah, you have a really good hill village or mountain village seed right here. This seed is going to have you spawn in this plains biome with a pretty good flatland area right along this area right here and down this hill. You also have a nearby structure, which is pretty cool. It's not too far from spawn, as you can clearly see. However, if you follow this river over into this general direction, you will come across a pretty cool village. You also have some more flatlands area right there in this plains biome. So there's a lot of little flatland areas along the way. And you have this pretty interesting village with another nearby structure if you want to build there. And it's not too far from the coast, as you can see right there. So boat exploration for this flatland seed, or the village if you want to build near here. It's going to be pretty accessible. This snow seed is going to have you spawn on top of this little hilltop that's overlooking a pretty large snow forest with some more flatland, or not flatland, snow plains area over there. However, if you turn around, you will have this pretty flat snow plains biome at the top of this mountain. So if you want a pretty large flat snow area that's on top of a hill or mountain, you got a pretty good area here. Also, if you go a little bit further this way, you got a pretty good flat area on that hill over there as well. So you do have your options if you want to build, and you do have a lot of trees in the surrounding area. So pretty good flatland snow seed. So you're going to spawn right around here, right along this river right here, which has a pretty good little feature right there, where it starts off really low and slowly elevates its way up to there. So if you wanted to build like a little dock by that part of the river, build like a little staircase or path all the way up there and have your house right there, that would be a really good part for it. But you also have this flat land hilltop right at spawn. So if you want to build something here, you can. And you do have the elevation going down gradually here up until around here. You might have to put a little bit more effort, but you also have something like that here. That goes all the way down to the river right there. You have some cherry groves up there on that hill top over there. You have some snow plains over there. So you do have a pretty good variety of trees. You have a lava lake over there, and I believe it was over by the cherry groves. You should have a ruined portal at the bottom of the hill, as you can start to see it right there. So you have a lot of simple features in here without being cluttered with a bunch of structures. You are going to spawn right in this little forest area right here. If you look over in this direction, you have this tall mountain or hill that you can utilize to get a sense of direction. On the other side of it, you have a cherry grove forest, and you have a ruined portal right over there at the tip of that little water area right there. However, if you come over here, you have a large flatland area with two villages relatively close to each other. I mean, to be honest, their roads are almost touching, so that's pretty close. And all around the villages, you have little spots, or some even large spots, of flatland to work with. And you have a couple villages, not villages, hills, right over in that direction. You have a hole in the ground right there, which you can go down to get deeper relatively easily. And another hill. So you have a lot to work with this seed if you like villages and flatland area.